Hello Dave is ad-free thanks to all you guys supporting the channel on Patreon. All income from donations and Patreon are used directly to upgrade cameras, light, microphones, software, things that allow me to produce more and better looking videos for you guys. All Patreons also get a discount at the merch store, and you have the option to get your name listed at the end of every video. So become a Patreon by following the link in the video description. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Hello Dave with Untitled Chapter. It is Monday, and that of course means we're going to have a look at what's been going on in Elite on the channel and what's going to happen in the near future. Elite has of course not been a quiet place with all the fleet carrier announcements going around at the moment. Frontier had a live stream where they showcased the fleet carriers, pretty much just showed the interface, and it was also accompanied by a forum post going into more details, but there are still some unanswered questions. I did a video last week where I showcased all the facts we know about it so far. But one thing that I haven't done so far is share my own personal views on the fleet carriers. So I've tried to keep it very factual, so I thought I would do that today. If you're interested in just the hard facts, I've done a relatively quick rundown of like the most important, how the fleet carriers works, what you can do and what you can't do, what will it cost to keep it running and all that stuff. Go and find that video. You can go and watch that. But I just want to share like my personal opinions about it, especially now that I've had a little bit of time to think about it. And I've seen a lot of hate for the way the fleet carrier has been implemented, especially the upkeep. And I can see the point. However, I don't see it as a huge issue. I mean, if you look at it, let's put it high and let's say a fleet carrier is going to cost you 20 million per week. We know it's going to be 10 million as base, and then as you add more services, it's going to go up. So I think if shooting high, it's going to be 20 million per week. It's probably going to be less, but let's just go with 20 for now. So if I go out and I mine and I make 200 million per hour, that means in a single hour of mining, I can mine enough to keep this thing running for 10 weeks. That's 2.5 months, right? So an active evening of mining, I should be able to mine enough to keep this thing running for a year. Now, if I'm a little bit more casual about my mining, maybe I'm going to spend 2 weeks or 2 evenings on it, and I can keep this thing running for a year. So I don't see the upkeep as a huge issue as many others do. I really don't think it's going to be a big issue. Well, personally, what I'm going to do is after I get the carry, I'm going to dump $1 billion in the account, and I know there's going to be other costs associated with it when it comes to wear and tear on services when you jump and all that stuff. So yes, there will of course be additional charges for keeping it up and running, but I don't see it as an issue. I think one of the reasons why a lot of people have such a huge issue with the way it is done right now is because fleet carriers have turned out to be quite different than I think most of us has imagined. I think a lot of people imagined this being a very, very expensive ship that you could use to store your ships and maybe store some cargo on and then jump that around. And it was basically something that every endgame commander would go for. Simply because it's the natural, it should be the natural endgame activities to go and get that fleet carrier. But the problem is, if all it really is a mobile station you can move around, it wouldn't add, I think, a whole lot. It would add some convenience, some quality of life, but for what the potential is with fleet carriers, I think it would be a waste just making them into basically a mobile like hangar for your ship. I think what Frontier has done is really nice. I think I really like especially the whole market around it, that you can actually have a commodity market on the fleet carriers where you as a player can buy and sell materials. I cannot stress, if it works as intended, how important that is going to be for the game. I think that's going to completely change the face of many activities in the game. Imagine that you would have a fleet carrier, people would park it in Boran, and then they would set up buy orders to buy diamonds. Well, that means that all the people that does not buy a fleet carrier, who don't want to spend the hassle of maintaining it, keeping it up and running and all that stuff, well, you're going to get lots of good sell spots right in Boran, so it's going to be easier for you. And yes, there will be multiple fleet carriers, and yes, there will be competition for prices. Of course there will be, and I think that's going to be great. I think it's going to be amazing to see how much people are willing to sacrifice in terms of prices. I don't think it's going to be like there's one person who's going to be able to dominate the market, because the sheer number of diamonds that would be produced in a place like Boran would be more than any one commander would be able to buy to pay for. You have to remember, you have to like put those money up front when you set the order, so they are reserved for this. So keep in mind that this is going to be a very, very expensive thing to do, and going to have a lot of stuff invested in buying all these diamonds. And what will most likely happen is, I think people will end up buying in Buran maybe even higher than the current market. Now, like if the market, as the time of this recording, for instance, the market is down, you're going to be lucky if you're going to get much more than $1 million per ton. On an average day, you're going to get 1.1. So let's say people are buying it for 1.2, 1.3 millions per diamond, right? Then they're going to sit there, they're going to hold on to the diamonds, they're going to wait for better times when the market is able to sell them, where you can sell the diamonds for, let's say, 1.7, 1.6, 1.7, something like that. And then you will move your carrier over. Problem is now you have thousands of tons of diamonds in your carrier, and that may be more than you can carry yourself. It would maybe not be feasible for you to do that many runs, because you want to get your carrier back so you can buy more diamonds later. So potentially what you could do is just jump into the system and set them up for sale, and then sell them up 100,000, 200,000 lower than the station that they're buying them. And that means there's going to be a whole new profession where when the prices are good, you don't necessarily have to go mining. You could just go to the stations where the prices on a specific material is good, and there's a chance that there might be a fleet carrier sitting around selling the diamonds, and you could buy them there, fly them into the station, and make a very healthy amount of credits. Let's say 100,000, 200,000, 50,000, I don't know, per ton. But still, let's say if it's just 50,000 per ton that you make as a profit for going from a fleet carrier parked in orbit around the same station, or around the same planet. It's going to be a very short trip and a very good profit per hour, I think. So there's I think even for players who do not end up getting the fleet carriers, I think they're still going to add a lot. I know some of you guys may not agree. I know this might be an unpopular opinion, but I think personally that's going to be great. Talking about the beta, it goes live tomorrow at 11 o'clock in game time. Now, that is at least the scheduled time. Maybe you shouldn't expect that you're going to be able to log in at exactly that time. There will also, of course, be I would expect pretty significant download in order to get this update up. I could imagine this would be a pretty big patch. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock, but it's actually not only fleet carriers that are being introduced into this patch. There is a few bug fixes, and there's a few of them that I just want to highlight because they were actually quite interesting. First of all, they added a fix for the crystalline structures where the fragments that you shoot off the crystals would fall through the ground. According to the patch note, that has been fixed, so that is definitely nice to see. They also implemented a fix that will prevent core mined fragments from clipping into the asteroid, so they will be stuck on inside the asteroid where the limpets wouldn't be able to get access to them. Also, very, very nice to see. And then there's a little interesting one here. They said here, increase the chance of players meeting previously encountered players when revisiting a system in a session. So if you in your same play session go between or back to a system, I guess, or back to a new system, I guess there's now a higher chance that you're going to be put in an instance with the same commanders as you did before. That's going to be interesting, mainly because if you ever try to do any large events with lots of people, you will know the hell of trying to get everybody in the same instance. But the fact that there's now a higher chance that that's going to happen, I think it's going to maybe be a little bit easier to get large groups of people together, which I hope that's going to be the case, because that would at least make my life a lot easier when I'm trying to host events where we are a lot of people gathered together. A quick update on the D2EA Fold at Home team. More people are joining every day, more work units are being done every day, and it is great to see that our team is currently, at the time of this recording, number 624 in the world, out of 250,000. That's amazing. That's like in the top 0.25% or something like that. Like out of 250,000 people in the world, we are number 624. That is amazing. Again, we are slowly approaching 10,000 work units being processed. And there's definitely some people on the team who's doing some amazing work. I'm having a hard time keeping up. Much like many of you guys, I've had a long period where it was really difficult for me to get any work units. So it was just sitting there idle. So that's nice. And I'm going to keep giving you guys updates on this. And hopefully, I'm hoping that we're going to make it into at least top 500 pretty soon. And then the next big step would be see if we can make it into top 100. But that's going to be a bit of a tough call, I think, making it that high. But we'll see how far we can get. And so far, at least, it's awesome to see all you guys folding out there. You're amazing. Thanks a lot for your effort. Then a quick update on live streams. Last Sunday, that would actually be yesterday, I held a little impromptu mine-a-thon. It was announced only on Discord like a few days before. It was a really fun event. I've done this once before where we would gather people around. It would give them 1 hour to go out and make as much money as they can mining, and then see who makes the most money after an hour. If you're interested in joining these kind of events when they happen, I highly suggest you jump over on Discord, since sometimes, as this one, they will only be announced over there because they were planned last minute with only a few days before the event, before it was actually announced. So I didn't have time to include it in Hello Dave. But if you want to take part in these events or just want to be part of the community, there's lots of players over there to play with. If you want to find a wing to mine in, that's definitely possible. I've seen wings pretty much every night. Some nights we've had multiple rings running at the same time. It's been great to see. If you're looking for a wingmate, then jump over on Discord. There's a link in the description, of course. Also, upcoming streams. Of course, tomorrow I'll have a stream, and it's going to be a little different than usual. I'm going to be streaming the beta as soon as I can get onto it. So it may be that I'm starting already at the 11 o'clock when the beta goes live, but I'm not sure if things might get a little delayed. I am going to put up a scheduled live stream, but I might have to postpone it depending on what happens. If this beta doesn't go live at the exact time, I don't know, or if it takes a little bit of time to download, I don't want to start streaming before I'm done downloading it because of bandwidth and stuff like that. So there will be a stream tomorrow. Exactly when it's going to start, I don't know. It's probably going to be a longer stream because I want to give this some good time. We're going to try to go out and buy a fleet carrier. We're going to try to set it up with all the different services, play around with them. Going to get some people online so they can see how it works from their end. We're going to go out, we're going to figure out how the whole tritium mining works, do some rebuilding of some ships. I have a few ideas there. And figure out, like, is tritium mining alone maybe going to be a profitable way to go? I don't know. There's going to be lots of experimenting with it, and we're going to be playing around with it. We're going to get some people online. It's going to be great. I hope I'll see you there. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give a like, subscribe, and until next time, I'll see you guys in space.